What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 20 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we had a bunch of battles. Grimgor was defeated, Marius Lightdorf has pretty much defeated the forces out of Mount Gunbat, and pretty impressively, I might add, considering he has a weak army with no mage, no heroes to buff it, etc, 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 and still managed to pull off a win against 3 Skaven stacks, which is pretty darn solid. We are nearly done with Grom the Paunch up here in Bretonia, which will enable us to move southward, and we are still doing pretty good up in the north, minus those annoying mutagenic energies that we've been having to deal with. And I guess we're going to have a fight against you shortly. Well, that'll be fun for Jurgen, considering his army is currently damaged. Anyway, in terms of, actually wait, before we get started, in terms of what we did, there's also some stuff I did between the episodes, i.e. the old switcheroo, as we've now traded several territories to the dwarfs that we had previously occupied. I did certainly consider keeping some of the green territories here, but it always bothers me when we wouldn't have a full settlement, so they can keep Barakvar, I guess, so that they have access to at least one port. We have Old Dwarf Road because that's Akendorf, and that's part of the border princes and all that, and we've now traded them back. Karazakarak. So, just going to start giving them the territories here, and I guess down here to the degree that we will be fighting in the mountains. Similarly, other switcheroos have been performed. Castle Sanglak, Grenaire, and Castle Paravent are ours, and so is the full Gisoro province now as well. So that is all of the elector counts, well, not all of them collected, but every imperial province in imperial hands now. So the empire is effectively restored, even if not all completely under the emperor. So that's nice in and of itself. And we still have the central provinces of Stirland and Telebekland that we need to confederate, but we'll get there rather soon. And of course, these little minor annoying factions like the Westerland that we revived. It might have been a mistake on my part to revive them, but not a big deal, I suppose. At this point, we will soon be at a point where we can take a Confederation debuff without suffering too much control anywhere, because we are stacking up all of those control debuffs, or buffs rather. Anyway, oh, and lastly, of course, the most important thing, we got materials at sea last time. Yeah, I can't believe I skipped that. I could have shut up about everything else and just kept the materials at sea, and that would have been the sum of things. Anyway, to start off, Emperor Karl Franz, I hesitate because I vaguely recall that you went out at sea because there was an army around here. Now, I assume then that the reason that we can't see said army is it would have sailed down here, but I'm not going to waste Karl's time by giving chase to it. So Karl, I guess you're going to head to Ormfell. I imagine that it's full of rats, but I guess we're going to make sure
Sigmar compels us onward
by heading on in there. Like so, and I guess you can channel, grab that, and then head back this way. We should once again still knock out Throggy, so we might want to pay a visit to some of these rats. And nice, Scarbrand's kind of on the way, so you know what? We were always intending to hunt down Scarbrand with Karl. And you know what? Troop train, I guess you're going this way then. You're going to suffer attrition, but we want you to get over here as fast as possible, essentially, because if you can, you will need to intercept that army. Would have actually loved for you to pick up these 2 islands, but if that army is indeed in this fog of war, which is a distinct possibility, we could probably send a hero out there to scout, but on the other hand, we can upgrade you. This is East Nordland. Yeah, our builder guy probably won't get up here anytime soon. At least I assume. Wait, where is the, let's see, we have Oldenlitz. What's the likelihood he can get to Oldenlitz? And no, Salzenmund? Well, he might. Where is he? How close is he? We got 4 turns left of materials at sea. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. He can reach it, but by then, yeah, whatever. I'll just build that up now. It's fine. At least I think it's fine. We could always cancel it by the time he gets here, if he manages to get here, because we also have to move him to other little provinces. Anyway, let's get back to doing stuff. Adolphi, you are going to head to Fallen King Mountain. Gotta knock out these Tzeentchens. Every Tzeentchen faction must be destroyed with extreme prejudice, as always. And you will not be able to auto-resolve this. Yeah, right, fair enough. It's a fairly decent little stack they've got there. It is a minor settlement, so I'm willing to let them sally out, or else we'll obliterate them with magics while they're trapped in the settlement. Gavin von Wolfen, you have defeated Grimgor. Let's clean up what's left of his army here. Move on to the Pillars of Grugme. And a 1, and I guess the money. You don't get anything from anything else. Well, actually, you know what? Take the leadership. I don't know if it, the auto-resolve, you know, accounts for it at all in the sense of helping the auto-resolve via leadership, but might as well, just in case it helps with us a little bit. Not that this army has a tendency to take a lot of damage via the auto-resolve, because I guess it doesn't have war wagons or whatever. It has much slower units and fragile units, but yeah, so the auto-resolve just really despises some units, so it is what it is. Anyway, let's keep going. Jürgen Wagner, ooh, yes, it's time for you to fight. Go. Oh, and he will fight. Perhaps unsurprisingly, considering, but it's time to finally see those land ships in action, regardless of the fact that the rest of our army is damaged. Go. All right, silent every time. Well, still, I do really like the Grandmaster look on foot as a foot knight as well. They look a little bit better than the Empire generals do. Anyway, here we go. You can see the cannon fire coming in, and we know what that's from. It's the land ships heading towards the enemy. The battle starts off as usual with Gotrek and Felix Vanguard deployed, and we can support them a little bit quicker with those land ships and get ready to move through the enemy lines and start firing in all directions, as these things are capable of doing. They're going to take a few of those javelins from the enemy missile troops and otherwise head down and through some of the annoying enemy backliners, and they kind of just drove through all of those doggos. Ouch. Not much damage that did. Not a crazy amount, about a quarter, maybe 20% of their HP. But they're just getting started, and the rest of our army is moving down towards the enemy as well. We've taken up position on the hill and getting the pistol units to fire down on the enemy. As the enemy monstrous infantry charges in, we counter them with the ogres as well, and same thing with the doggos. The ogres shouldn't be too threatened by them at all, even if they are damaged, and we did keep the ogres back in the sort of hurt elements of our army in this particular situation. Speaking of the hurt elements, we can see that we've put the various units from the damaged units from the auto-resolve in the back line, and then in the front line are those units that are healthier, for obvious reasons. Anyway, the land ships have destroyed those 2 units of doggos and have been damaging other units all the while, and are going to head forward in a little train towards the enemy's back lines. Or not even their back lines, but hit them in the rear while they're distracted by the... Ooh, nice cannon shot through all of those spawn of Tzeentch. Very nice. While they're distracted by our mainliners. And a couple more charges, gonna catch those Javelineers and range units so they don't threaten the land ships. And there we go. The two are kind of working together a little bit. Well, perhaps we can separate them. I think this is the appropriate course of action in this current time. The enemy lord has run away from Gotrek, Felix, and Jürgen, and I don't remember where Ulrich is. I think she's giving chase to the, she's giving chase to the Chaos Feral Manticore, while these 3 take care of the giant who is running away. Alrighty, and the enemy's main line is in trouble as well, and the balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor. Just a little bit more effort, a few more charges from our land ships, and the battle should be ours. And the land ships may not be looking like they're making a gigantic impact, but they've got 113 kills, 22,000 damage, and I'd wager a fair bit more than anybody else has done in this particular battle. Alright, and the pirate-looking man-eaters and the units of Free Company look pretty good with those land ships now. Lovely. I wonder if these guys can fire backwards. Oh, yeah, they can. I was wondering if they would only fire to the sides, but yes, they can. Very good. Gotta love a unit that can fire in all directions. And just look at the little animations that we got on the inside of the land ship as well. Anyway, with that, the battle pretty much comes to a close. There we go. The enemy army shatters, and it is done. We're going to give chase to them, and, well, the land ships are pretty good at giving chase, I guess, as well. The enemy did besiege us, so we will have to auto-resolve them. Also, sorry about the lateness of this episode. I guess, yeah, I had to start this recording a little bit later today as I had to work longer. But, well, what can you do? Hopefully tomorrow that won't be an issue. Alright, there we go. The maiden voyage of our first two land ships, the Unsinkable and the Jackdaw. A resounding success, and both hovering around 27,000 damage, equaling each other's damage, which is always pretty neat to see. And, of course, they did pretty darn well, charging through the enemy's lines and obliterating and firing in all directions, as they do. For the units of our free company... Let's see. I think it might have been one of the unnamed ones that got the win. No, Pack of the Black Hound actually got the most damage, with the Badlands Gunslingers closing in on them rather quickly, though one of the unnamed Grand Cauldron regulars managed to carry the day for the Ogres. We're going to heal up because we'll want to... I mean, I'd love to take the 2.7k, but we do want to chase these guys down. We don't want to need to fight that battle again, so... Gotta do what you gotta do. Let's kill Woolric here. And auto-resolve. And you better not screw us on this auto-resolve. 47 loss, not too bad. I like that it's not damaging land ships, and... I find it quite interesting because we've seen our steam tanks get obliterated by the auto-resolve, but the steam tanks are much slower, which is interesting. The steam tanks are slower and tankier, so it's quite a curiosity. Maybe it's because the rest of this army is fast, or maybe because it has the ogres, which are quick as well. And so the AI is assuming that they'd keep pace with the land ships. Maybe that's why. Anyway, this time we'll take the money. Anyway, Shield of Talos, you can hold on to it for now, though we'll turn it into something else. Are you actually able to... Oh, wow, you couldn't go all the way up here? Or all the way down here? Huh. I'm gonna say... Oh, wow, this is a minor settlement? Huh, okay, well, I'm willing to bet that the other resolve won't let us do that. Ooh. But... I'm willing to bet that these guys will actually fight Boris here. I like the sound of that. Alright, go into trenches stance. Okay, can't reach it in trenches stance. Okay, go into regular stance. Let's level... Okay, wait. No, not yet. We gotta do it in order. Since the other resolve won't let us do this, maybe we sit here and heal for a turn. Yeah, fine, let's heal for a turn. Not a huge deal, and then we'll go here afterwards, and then hopefully auto-resolve it, considering it doesn't feel like we should need to fight it. But anyway, Boris, once we get to you in the order, then we'll have you fight as well. Alright, Jurgen, that was you. Okay, yes. Waldemar, you, who has found that material at sea for us, still want to grab this shipwreck.
Sigmar compels us.
And maybe Roland the Devoted will grab Barfleur so that we don't have to move down there ourselves. Guess we'll find out. Let's also auto-resolve this. And take the money. No significant damage, or no damage of significance. Alrighty, and the lucky arrow. Did you just get a second? Oh, wow. Okay, this guy just won the economic portion of the campaign for us. Very nice, sir. You definitely deserve a reward for that. And oh, you're not an Elector count of anything. Okay, I might swap you to become an Elector count for us, because my lord has this been useful for the Empire. Good. Absolutely fantastic job. I wanted to do something here, and yes. You, one of the war wagons. It bothers me when 3 out of 4 are not named, or 3 out of 4 are named and 1 isn't, so you can be Zizka's Revenge. There we go. Alright, now all 4 of the mortar war wagons are named, and these are our most powerful mortar war wagons with 911 missile strength. Pretty darn solid with all of the buffs that they've got in this particular army. Their reload time and down to 4.0 now, with the significant buffs offered to them and by this marksman commander thing. Really want to pop some cannons in here. Once again, because these guys can't take advantage of it, just to see what kind of things the cannons can do. But anyway, that can wait. Can't believe you got another materials at sea. Absolutely fantastic. Von Blitten, you're headed down to a case. And then Baldric, oh, okay, we're gonna have to figure that out in a second, actually. Is this auto-resolvable? Close victory? No, it'll kill our free company militia. Oh, game, why? Why you do this? I'm almost tempted to say we move Baldric and... Are you not close enough to reinforce? I feel like he's not close enough to reinforce. Hard to tell. This is this guy's circle. Can't tell what the settlement circle, how big it is, though. I mean, we could try. It will only have wasted one turn, and we're not at war with these guys, so it's not a big deal. Yes, this is just to save the extra little bit of time, because otherwise we're going to have to manually fight this real quick, and nah, he's out of range. Oh well, not much we can do about that then. You can pop into encamp stance. And I guess we have no choice but to quickly fight this manually. I don't know why the auto-resolve is saying that this is any... I mean... Yeah, it's going to kill off the Free Company Militia. Fair enough, and the auto-resolve has been going after the Free Company Militia in this particular army a lot, so... I did want to get a couple of Empire captains in here, and it probably warrants putting them in here then, instead of the Free Company Militia. Much as I like the army in its current state. And again, I was saying that we could possibly replace the Great Swords and stuff, but we shall see. Anyway, let's just form up real quick. It doesn't really matter how we form up, because the enemy has no chance whatsoever. Or we did this with this very same army recently, and just gonna have to do it again. Tis what it is. Mortar, you need to be out front to actually annoy the enemy army into moving towards you. Let's actually send the other war wagons out there as well to use their powers to annoy. Maybe on this side as well. Try to get both of the enemy boar boys to charge them, essentially. Let's get the Free Company here so that they can fire into the gaps. Like so. Again, the formation isn't super relevant, and then you guys can protect against the boar boys in the flanks, and you guys can fire down from there. In fact, you could probably go up here as well. Alright, and then you can protect them in case anybody moves on in. Alrighty, you two. You're gonna be group 1, you're gonna be group 2, and I believe that's it. Yes? Yes. Alrighty, start battle. Alright, you. Turn off skirmish mode. Go here. Wagon go here. Wagon go here. And see how long it takes the enemy to move towards us. This is a weak basic mortar war wagon, so it's not going to do crazy amounts of damage, but it will probably do something. There we go. Fire away until that. Okay, that was much quicker than I was expecting, but oh, actually that was a oh, you're in skirmish mode. Oh, that's going to screw you guys over. I forgot to turn your skirmish mode off. All right, we're going to need to help you out. My bad. Can't trust that skirmish mode. All right, now you guys can back off. There we go. Oh. Yeah, you can back off too. Yeah, this is what I get for max speeding it. Guys, please don't gun down your own war wagons. Thank you, thank you. Alright, there we go. No more max speed. Just trying to save us a little bit of time. Alright, let's pop off a nice chain lightning in the midst of that blob moving towards us. And then get a big old wind blast going through the archers. Or error boys, as you prefer. Range units will be firing away. Let's also turn off the skirmish mode from these guys. Alright. And, I mean, we could slow them down to Comet. Yeah, they'd probably just move away and dodge it. Oh, let's give it a shot. See if they move. As in the range units. Our own range units will obliterate them anyway, it'll hardly matter. And might actually clip a couple of them. Yeah, they're moving away. Come on, Comet. For once, you should have been inaccurate. Or actually, this is the one time that I wanted it to be inaccurate, but oh well. You land real quick and then pop off your ability and then move away as soon as it's up. There we go. A little bit of damage. Nice little free nuke. Alright, you. Nearly done. And I would like you guys to snipe the enemy lord from where you are. Beautiful. You can even slow them a little bit on the main line. And there we go. The Lord's nearly dead. We don't even need our own Lord to deal with it. You guys can now snipe the enemy Black Orc Big Boss. Okay, I would actually like some of you guys to snipe the enemy range units as well, please. Like so. And speed it back up. And with that, the battle is done. Yeah, auto-resolve. Yeah, that's clearly our units would have died. Alright, no problem. At least it only took a minute or so. And yeah, sometimes it just gets to the point where you want to sort of modify your armies, or at least some of your armies that are having trouble with auto-resolves, to have not so much trouble in auto-resolve. It's kind of the sort of sometimes the issue with using too many basic units, in the sense that the auto-resolve also won't like them too much. Even if you can make them strong, you can't make them, well, you can't make the auto-resolve like them for all that. And you don't want to get bogged down in, you know, tedious little minor battles. Not that we're getting a lot of these, mind you, so it's not a big deal in this particular campaign, but, you know, it can happen. Anyway, we will occupy the place. Sorry I wasted Baldric Stroam's turn, but oh well. You know what? That's fine. We can actually send one of you down to grab Toranrock, and then sail back up here. We gotta get this place anyway, and it's probably better that we send one of you to do it rather than Gelt, because Gelt is still busy with Wurzag. Anyway, the Yellow Eye faction is destroyed. Let's... oh, this is a new territory. Don't collect the income for now, but do build the pastures, please. Alright, who is next out of all that? Emil von Corden. You were... ah! You can reach Barrows of Kreela? Nah, you can't. Or can you? You can. I lied. Alright, I would like you to besiege this. And I would like you to take Black Chasm while you're at it. Alright, I am very much hopeful that they will sally out. Very, very hopeful that they will sally out. And in fact, we will level up before moving on in. We'll grab Esteemed Combatant, I think. Although, we do want... nah, you know what? You should probably still have Hold the Line. All of you should really have Hold the Line. Let's go for Hold the Line. Now, you have several points. Start moving through, we are the elite. Alright, there's kind of no rhyme or reason in the way that I sort of ordered everybody's points in this particular army. Yeah, everybody got different, their points distributed in different ways, but they'll link up eventually. Anyway, you can have Retinue Physician. Oh wait, you didn't have Soulfire, did you? No, you did not. Alright, and then Leslie Bruckner, you are going to get Scarred Vet, because I still am wary of you constantly getting hurt. Oh right, I forgot, not last episode, but the episode before last, Gelt had a desync that specifically seemed to target his Hellstorms. I wonder if it has something to do with... no, okay, you don't have Executor, and Gelt doesn't. I take it none of you have Executor either. Huh. I wonder what caused the desync there. We'll see if it happens again, because Gelt has fought before, and he didn't get desyncs those times. It's weird for it to happen to a specific battle, isn't it? Curious. Anyway, I guess you're gonna go defend Ekrund. I doubt that they're going to besiege or attack it, and of course I started to move Gelt, who is out of order, but all good. You sit there, at least you have your first Eldred's Guard. And definitely gotta pop them into several of the other armies as well. Anyway, Philip Ivan the Crazy, you could just sit there for now. You're going to be swapping those units around, especially since they're high rank, if any of those unit types are required in any particular army. Next up... okay, you just stay where you are, buddy, at least for now. Let's move everybody else around until we got this figured out. Marius, yes. You will complete the... really? We've already defeated them. Oh... well, it is what it is. Okay, I guess we gotta go through another one of these minor fights. I guess we could stay for another turn, and then between the attrition and stuff, maybe they will allow for the auto-resolve. Wait, how close are you?
Praise be to Sigmar.
What if they you know what, I'll give them a chance. What if they have a third stack, or a fourth stack, whatever. What if they have another stack in Moonstone Mountain? They might actually push towards Mount Gunbad. I'd rather fight them in the field rather than bother with a minor settlement battle against, or not a minor settlement battle, but basically a minor battle against a force which we have already soundly defeated. Anyway, Gustav Schneider, you guys, you guys moved up? Why did you do that? It's curious. Well, good luck to you.
It is for the best.
It is indeed for the best. You know what, I'd love to get the Stubborn Bulls in to support. We don't need them, but, you know, because reasons. And Spinetail's gonna run. Will he run far enough to approach this place? He will not. Alright, well, too bad for Spinetail. Them's the breaks, little guy.
Raise your weapon.
Raise your weapon indeed. Alrighty, now... I'm kind of tempted to fight this a little bit just because we have the stubborn bulls, though frankly we wouldn't need them. It's mostly Skaven slaves. And we do have another army with all of these guys. Yeah, it's probably not worth our time, is it? I just thought it was of it. Let's see how much damage this does to us. Well, it does quite a bit to the Wardens of the West, but I'm not surprised. On the bright side, we got a Armor of Destiny out of that, and that alone is pretty worth it. Alrighty, not for you, though. That's definitely going on one of our legendary lords. And another White Cloak of Ulrich. Huh, now that we have two, we could potentially take the two and put them on Boris's heroes instead of him himself, so that he can use the Talisman of Preservation or something instead. Seems like the better choice for him. Anyway, we will obviously take this as well. You can, I guess, move and reinforce and march stance. And at least this way, these guys won't be able to build armies out of this territory. Occupy, there we go. Plus it's a solo territory, but it does have obsidian, which means we can get some use out of it. And speaking of obsidian, okay, no, lose that sort of battle, please. Speaking of obsidian, Brittle Peaks is ours. Speaking of obsidian, does that give us the ability to trade with anybody new? Nope, doesn't look like it. I mean, those guys have been wanting to trade for a while, and I don't think anybody else cares, but we should still take a look at the... Yeah, probably nothing. Yeah, I wanted to say take a look at the diplomacy, which we have. And let's continue. Philip Ivan, I took a look at you. Leopold von Bildhofen, we did as well. Marius, you're besieging. Recruiter Beckberg doesn't need to move. Arch Recruiter Hartmann... give me a minute. Aldebrand Ludenhoff, you're fine. Stefan von Kessel, alright, you will continue moving, I guess, this way until you heal up to full. Okay, you really need a warrior priest. I was gonna save the money, but frankly, you're not healing very well, and it's bothering me now. Can we build a warrior priest at Forced Solace? We can. Oh, right, we really wanted one that had the appropriate trait. You know, they're not crazy expensive. Let's just get one, whichever, I guess, Grand Hammer of Sigmar. And then if we get the appropriate one, we could send this guy somewhere else. How about that? Just want to get Von Kessel to replenish troops, because he's really in need of it. Good enough for now. And that's one warrior priest, which puts you at 19. I was going to do another Sigmarite disciple as well. Or in the alternative, put another Illuminarch in there. Which is a distinct possibility as well. I'll think about it. Or another light mage if we're going for a sort of light order theme there. I will continue thinking about it anyway. Who's next? Well, from Blaze, you are there to deliver the steam tank to Elspeth, as in her second steam tanks. Please head on down there. Boris, yes, you are ready for some fighting. Let's get you leveled up, and let's get on in there. Alrighty, now... Much as I'd love to get leader of men and leading the charge, I think Boris would power himself up, so we'll do this. He will want Sigmar's ward, and we will also want red line, probably for... Okay, pretty much everybody is on a steel here. At least everybody that's infantry. And since this provides us additional armor, we'll prioritize on a steel. Actually, there are 32 armor now, so I was saying that we didn't need Empire captains in here, but they could probably use them fairly well. Certainly something to consider. Anyway, you are going to move through Retinue Physician, grab Soulfire, grab Righteous Fury, and I'm going to say maybe Retinue Quartermaster, because Inspirational isn't super useful in this particular force. You, Amber Wizard, you have Further Study. Let's get Arcane Conduit. And we have 2 points. We're mostly spamming the cheap spammable spell, so let's get 1 more point in Further Study for the additional Winds of Magic cost reduction. And I would like the upgraded, the overcast version of Curse of Anra here, because that gives it the area of effect. Now, this should be finally the proper debut of Boris, especially since these guys got some good stuff. They got Trolls, they got Giants, they got Colossal Squigs, a Pyrrhic Victory, 2 stacks. Since that other battle against the Norskins disappointed, I imagine this one will not go. Wise counsel indeed. Now here we go. Ooh, I really like this lighting, and we've got the Nagarothi structures, the Dark Elven structures in the background with a purple sort of, I guess, a Dark Elven aurora. Something magical coming out of those towers, I guess. Anyway, exciting times as Boris will at last get a proper debut. Our children of Ulrich are going to move forward on the flanks together with the Knights of the White Wolf. And we'll use them together. They're both kind of relatively low on melee defense, but the Knights of the White Wolf are heavily armored and have a pretty solid amounts of HP, so hopefully they'll be a little bit tankier than the units of Things in the Woods / Children of Ulrich. I should just rename them all to Children of Ulrich, but anyway, or otherwise give them names. Should probably also name one of the Knights of the White Wolf the Fellwood Brotherhood. Fellwolf Brotherhood, that's it. I'm trying to remember what the name of their inner circle knights are. But anyway, over on the left flank, we've got the Knights of the White Wolf leading the charge as they smash into the enemy lines of Boar Boys. Looks like the Boar Boys are booking it on out of there, not wanting to face off against them directly. Unfortunately for said Boar Boys, the Children of Ulrich hit them from the back as they looped around. And we'll now keep them in place, applying that grave wound as well. The bonus versus infantry and bonus versus large will help at least a little bit in reducing the potential damage coming out of the Boar Boys. Most importantly, the things in the woods with that wound that they cause should be pretty useful in fighting enemy troll units, which I'm sure we'll encounter against the orcs, the Norskins, Chaos, pretty much everybody up here except the Dark Elves, I suppose. Anyway, the main line has made it forward now. The enemy squigs, spiders, snotlings, gobos, orcs, what have you, have crashed into the line of the Token Guard and the Wolfkin. And it's just a big old-fashioned brawl. Tactically, this army is pretty darn simple, but I guess facing off against the orcs will be appropriate here. The enemy has also moved its 3 giants together, which is pretty interesting since we don't have gunners to be able to bring them down and focus them. Our infantry are just going to have to deal. The flocks of doom will only be a very, very slight nuisance, like mosquitoes, to those giants. Ooh, nice charge from that troll. And there's the other giant, but the 3 giants working together are going to be the big issue because they're protecting each other and preventing one of them from getting surrounded. Anyway, the battle is definitely going in our favor to some degree, but it's still only about 55% balance of power. We are taking a fair bit of damage on some of our infantry, especially where the giants are concerned, but Mr. Todbringer has knocked out 2 out of the 3 enemy goblin shamans. Was going to go for the 3rd, but has decided to instead go for the savage giant. On the bright side, over on the left and right flanks, the combination of Knights of the White Wolf and the Things in the Woods / Children of Ulrich have completely crushed the enemy cavalry and are now ready to move on in and help the infantry out by smashing into the enemy runners and the enemy range units. So Error Boys are about to start dying in droves, and any enemy units that start running away will have a pretty bad time of it as well. There we go. And nice to see the Children of Ulrich having some fun as well. Alright, just taking in the sights. Once again, tactically, we're basically just going to out-brawl the enemy here, and it looks like it's pretty successful so far. Boris has taken about 50% of the HP off the giant that he has personally targeted, and by the looks of it, will defeat it rather soon. Nowhere near as quick as Karl, mind you, but still pretty solid. And it looks like the giant that Boris was fighting was broken. In fact, pretty much only the giants remain. Oh, it does look like the colossal squig is coming back, and our amber wizard was the one that sent that particular squig running. Our units of Swords of Ulrich have absorbed a lot of damage here by fighting the giants and are now down to about 20% of their HP, but being a summoned unit from Boris, that's perfectly fine, and it's, well, the role that we want for them. We want them to absorb all that damage. And other units in the Knights of the White Wolf will come in to help out. This warrior priest is here alone. Well, okay, he's got some Wolfkin with him, but it's taking the Wolfkin a long time to bring those giants down, especially with their super high HP values, that trample effect, that AoE trample that they've got. But we've got pretty darn high damage on those knights, and the giant will start getting torn to shreds, especially with its melee defense buffed down to basically nothing with Van Horstman's Speculum. It does look like some trolls have moved in to help out, but I'm not sure for how long, especially as if they're going to charge us in the back, we'll just do the same to them as the Children of Ulrich move on in. And they're at least partially here to counter units like trolls to reduce their healing capabilities. And there we go. Looks like with that, the giant is defeated and is booking it on out of there, and it looks like that is that. The battle is ours. Boris has defeated, I believe, a second giant. This one will topple, probably crush a few of those yep, somebody got crushed. Oh, those poor Wolfkin, but all good. There we go, a proper battle when we took a lot of damage in. Tactically not the most interesting, but I mean, what are you gonna expect out of greenskins and I suppose Ulrichites other than brawling? Alright, there we go. A solid debut, definitely worthy of the Todbringer. How long have we waited? But really nice to see his army work. Lots of damage on everybody, and ooh, wow. 30,000 damage on one of the Wolfkin. Very impressive. These guys are definitely going to need names. And that out-damaged pretty much everybody on the field with the exception of Toddy himself, who got 41,000 damage and 55,000 damage on the Amber Wizard. But, you know, Flock of Doom spam against greenskins should not be surprising. Solid work out of the Things in the Woods or the Children of Ulrich as well. I still haven't decided whether we want to use them as light cav to move in support of the heavy cav of the Knights of the White Wolf, or whether we should use them as a sort of monstrous infantry interspersed amongst the lines of the Wolfkin and Teutogan Guard. The Teutogan Guard would thus buff them, make them a little bit stronger, but they would be in more danger of getting shot up and stuff, so I'll think about it. Either way, a very nice fight for Toddy Boy. We're gonna occupy the place. I guess we could have sacked it, but I think we were just at the edge of the range, and there was no reason to risk not being able to immediately occupy it after. You know what? Go into Host Fest and collect the income here for now, at least until we trade it to Boris, and we can collect it. And there's really nobody else to trade this stuff to. Yeah, well, we're just going to collect money from him for as long as we can. I mean, we're basically going to end up giving him all of Norska for free. Well, not for free, so... gotta be paid for our efforts. Anyway, let's see. Gelty has moved. This was Todd. Just gotta find him. There he is. Alright. Wolfram Frankenwerter, you are delivering the steam tank, specifically to Humphrey Bruckert. Oh, and we stopped you guys. Alright, so Humphrey, you are going to auto-resolve this. Nope, we are going to quick save because it has war wagons, and then we'll auto-resolve it.
No mercy.
Now it hurt the Yag Battalion number 5, but why? But why? Okay, I don't know. Game just be weird like that sometimes. Ooh, we did get a brass cleaver, though. Very, very nice pickup. Unfortunately, the very first one we got so far in this particular campaign. Anyway, you're going to besiege. Let's hope that Grommy sallies out. Huh. Wait. It's Pyrrhic victory now. I thought before it said it was going to be a... loss, but maybe after we leveled up it became a Pyrrhic victory. Maybe I shouldn't have leveled everybody up. Oh well. Let's just hope that he sallies out anyway. It's the orky thing to do, right? I mean, anyway. Zintla, are you ready to build a couple more of those? Nice, yes you are. Let's get you 2 more gyrocopters. Now, yeah, I guess we could do 2 of each kind. I like the idea of them flying over the rest of the army. And then correct. Yeah, we have 100 now, but we're just waiting for the ability to actually build some stuff. Anyway, Valdemir is fine, Elgar is fine, presumably to be reset. Volkmar is not fine. You still have to occupy Mortis Tarn. Like so. Alright, as for whether we're keeping Mortis Tarn remains to be seen. Ooh, hello. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Huh. It is a yellow territory, but we might actually be able to use it as a staging ground. Especially with the ability to use conscription as well. A call to arms will increase a local recruitment capacity. I don't dislike the idea. We have almost everything we would want here. Can we build witch hunters here? We have a temple of Sigmar. We can even build Sigmarite disciples here. Oh wow. That's real nice. Alrighty, also what are you, by the way? You are a guardian. We could just get another guardian in here and just to double up on it. I mean, yeah, technically it would be better to have the ones that are whatever, but you know what? Maybe we don't care that much about fishing for traits. Let's get the guardian. Do we need an Empire captain in this army? It would be nice to get additional armor for, frankly, pretty much every unit in here, I will admit. Also, wait, we got 1 turn until Veneration of Sigmar is ready, which gives us the ability to get Army of Sigmar up and running, so just gotta wait that 1 turn. Is there anything that we want to recruit here while we're at it, other than the possibility of getting those Sigmarite disciples? But we should do that with a follower lord, so we could do that next turn. And increase the recruitment capacity in general. This should probably be a solid place to build Knights Panther. And they could just go. I think that's what we'll do. Also, there was an Orky army here, which is why we sent Gavin this way, and... Don't you have an Amber Wizard moving towards you? Or not an Amber Wizard, do you have a Gold Wizard moving towards you? Right? Yes. Alright, it's gonna be a little bit. Anyway, go see about those orcs. Frankly, I might have you go fight the orcs while Volkmar pushes this way. Or just waits around a little bit for us to get him the missing stuff. Oh, damn, they're not in march stance. Oh. Well, they might attack you and you're gonna be in trouble because you don't have your stuff yet. But, well, let's just hope that the Bretonians can handle it. You have Emperor's Finest. Out of this stuff will most likely go Reiksguard because you're not having any actual knights, and Reiksguard provides you a nice, a little bit of armor and missile resistance aura. Only when in melee, mind you, but it'll still help out. And I think the other auras are comparatively inferior, at least for this particular army. Oh, the reduction in enemy armor isn't too bad. Spell resistance bonus versus large. The bonus versus large out of Knight's Panther would also allow you to stack with the additional bonus versus large that we'd have on the on the halberds. But again, up armoring them does, I do enjoy the idea anyway. Yeah, there's nothing else in this army that would benefit from anything here, right? Speed of Horse does not benefit the Wardens of the West. It does not. They get Emperor's Finest buffs, which admittedly they need because they're pathetically fragile. Pistol Corps obviously wouldn't benefit them. We're not going to have any steam tanks in here. You know, just keep saving the points until you rank 10 then. It's only 2 points, so yeah, just stay there and we'll see if you should survive. Should these guys attack you. Yeah, might as well risk it. Move towards them. Do we need to give you items? You know what? Do we have anything to spare? And that would work on you, but also stuff that we don't want to be losing. Or rather, stuff that we're willing to risk losing. Have a Charmed Shield, so you at least have some armor. I don't really care for the Dawn Stones, so we can fuse them into something nice. Obsidian Lodestone. Anything else sort of striking, I similarly don't care for, so you can fuse these two into, what do we have here, a Sword of Strife, which is not horrible. Huh? Armor? Wait, Guffin of Magray is a weapon? What? Is this bugged? Huh? This is a weapon? With ward save, magical attacks, and elite... What? Is it me, or is this thing not a weapon as a talisman? That is so strange. Wait, I just want to see something. Here in the list, is it also listed as a weapon? Yeah, it is. Huh, okay, well, I guess Old World screwed that up, but what can you do? Not a big deal, I guess. Anyway, let's keep moving. Ignore all that. I'm just going to assume that these guys will get attacked next turn. And frankly, I hope they do. I want to see those Bretonians in action already. Nicholas Simmelshielder, you are still waiting for Wolfheart and the rest of your recruitment, so yeah, I guess you can just, you could just sit there. Fair enough. And just a little bit longer, and there we go. Let's spend the rest of our money for whatever other building we can get in there, and then we'll be good to go. Brockel, you are all the way out here. Wait. I'm just gonna check whether we might be able to get close enough to reduce the costs here. Although, admittedly, there's probably nothing here that's gonna be crazy expensive. So we should be okay. Oh, and I gotta keep not confusing Brockel with Bokel. Alright, well. Alright, let's do Wizards Campus. Let's do the Foundry here. Let's just upgrade this barracks here. Because our public order is pretty okay, and might as well max out the coaching in so we don't have to look here again. Salzenmund, we will wait because, well, actually, you know what? Let's at least get the first level of the Wizards Conclave and the... maybe gunsmith as well. We could still reduce, if we can get here and still reduce those, we will still be able to, you know, get some advantage out of that. Nolan, yes, we do want the Engineers Guild Hall and we do want the Wizards Tower. Which of them takes priority? Not so sure. Either way, we'll want to start on the paved roads, and then I guess, wow, we don't have a lot of room in here. We're gonna have to forego the tap room, just go for the weaving house. Alright, well, it is what it is. This place. Ooh, Wiedebach, you can upgrade the city. And now I believe we're out of money. Alright, now we can end the turn then and see how many places we get attacked and damaged buildings. This is all to be traded, so it hardly matters. And the Lord not moved? I think we could move to all the ones that needed to move, so end turn. Hey, Grommy will indeed sally out. I'm very, very proud of him. Let's crush him. Alrighty, here we go. I've been very excited to get this army out on the field. Our 5 units of DEMIGRYPH Knights pretty much make up the entire army. Every unit led by a champion Empire captain on a DEMIGRYPH of its own, so each unit can act on its own effectively. And don't they look good charging in together? We got the support in the form of the Life Wizard, and then of course the Pistoliers, which will act as a light cavalry slash doggos to chase enemies that shatter down, so that the extremely limited number of units in this army can continue fighting. Anyway, here we go. The DEMIGRYPHs will suffer a few artillery shots as they move on in, but the rock lobbers aren't going to be particularly threatening to the beasties. They may be charging uphill, but that is of no import, as their lances, beaks and talons will still make their way forward. Another unit will just absolutely crash through a unit of enemy gobos, take about half of their HP, and then move towards identifying and trying to go after Mr. Grom the Paunch, who has lost about 30% of his HP already, and by the looks of it is attempting to use his mass to get out of the press of DEMIGRYPH Knights. There we go. It's a brutal time, especially as we pop on that shield of thorns on everybody. High damage dealing DEMIGRYPH Knights, as well as the melee damage reflection, is going to be pretty ugly for all of those orcs. Biggins, black orcs, whatever. At least for now. Alright, enemy range units are also firing away at our units of Pistoliers, but that's probably just fine. We don't really care about that. And it looks like Grom the Paunch is at last broken free of the press and is getting out of there. Well, makes sense. Especially around the DEMIGRYPH Knights with halberds, he probably doesn't want to stay in the fight. The lances are sticking in the fight a little bit longer than perhaps we'd like, but they're doing pretty darn okay, even if they're not cycle charging and taking advantage of their massive charging bonus, or charge bonus right now. Obviously, our captains are kind of hard to spot in the center of all this, and probably Bruckner is as well. They're also on the DEMIGRYPHs and they kind of blend in with everything, but that's as it should be. It's almost too bad that you can't sort of have a function in the game where you can attach your units, essentially, you know? Like attach the captain to the unit rather than having to group them up, but I guess it's functionally somewhat similar anyway. Anyway, there we go. Looks like we are very much winning the fight. The balance power is at about 70% in our favor. And the charges will continue until all the greenskins are dead. There we go, love the mass on those demigryphs. And this is why we don't need more demigryphs or other elite cab than we currently have. 5 is more than sufficient to be extremely scary. And the army keeps it interesting by not having too many more units. It does look like one of our demigryph units, the one of the units of halberds, is down to about 66% of its HP. And has lost 5 of its number, fighting a unit of Black Orcs with great weapons, which does make sense. Admittedly, we did keep them in the fight rather than doing a little bit of that cycle charging, but I felt it was the more entertaining thing to do in this particular situation. We also got that significant reduction in the casting capabilities on the Jade Wizard, as in the Winds of Magic cost reductions, and via text we should be able to get a few more as well, which will make it even easier for these guys to cast. And yes, since we have Veneration of Shalia, I believe we have the 20% cost reduction for Life Wizards in theory, and then considering the strength of the Life Lore, it would thus be the best thing tactically to just use Life Wizards in every single army. But obviously we're not doing that. In fact, we only have the one Life Wizard so far. We got another one that's going to be moving in soon to help out Marius Lightdorf and his basic Ogre unit, since they're super fragile. And I'll think about whether we want to pop another one in anywhere. Anyway, one more charge or a couple more charges just for the fun of it, but it looks like with that the enemy army has shattered. There we go. Grom the Paunch has escaped from the demigryphs and from all of these guys, but we didn't bother giving chase to him. We just had the Pistoliers chase him down instead. I think he's going to be able to move off of the battlefield, mostly because we only have one Pistolier unit annoying him, and without the buffs of the other armies that use the Pistoliers, since they generally give them range unit buffs, they don't do enough range damage to sort of out-damage the regeneration that Grommy has. That said, a very nice debut battle for these guys, and considering it's a effectively all-cavalry army, they have a very strong chasing capability, so I imagine that this army will, by and large, be completely destroyed, or, well, mostly destroyed, and otherwise we'll be able to auto-resolve what remains with no trouble. A very nice work from the demigryphs. I'm excited to see how they fare shortly against either the orcs or the undead to the south, or possibly just head them towards Skavenblight and the massive number of armies that Ikit has running around. Alrighty, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted out of this army, which did pretty darn well. The effectively 5 units of demigryphs, each with a champion at its head. 4 Empire captains with the champion, Traden and Bruckner, and a little bit of mage support, while our Pistoliers hunted down the enemy that routed. Very, very nice. Wish Grom would have stayed and tried to fight any of our champion single entities, but alas, I think he was too afraid, with admittedly good reason. Solid damage out of all the demigryph knights, especially the third one with 80,000 damage on the Lancers. Very nice. Generally speaking, looks like the Lancers outdid the demigryphs with halberds, but they were a little bit more focused on trying to chase down bigger units because of those halberds and in their anti-large, so I guess it does make sense. Yeah, we should be able to auto-resolve this just fine. Take the money. Don't bother healing. Yeah, the Zinchans will actually sally out as well. I'm pleasantly surprised by that, and I guess Dolph might be as well. The enemy will be unpleasantly surprised by how his strong army is. Go.
If I can craft the finest of machines, I can command
Alrighty, here we go again. As we've learned against the orcs, I believe, Dolph doesn't need to run and gun unless it's a more than one stack. Just gun is more than sufficient. Now let's see if the same remains true of a Tzeentchian force rather than an Orky force with the fairly significant amount of range damage that the enemy has to offer. Once again, we're going to pop off that double buff, Ballistics Calibration and Flaming Sword of Ruin, nearly 300 missile strength on the Outriders from the combo. And probably a fair bit of damage coming in at Dolph as well. Ooh, enemy does hit us back with their own range fire, however, as a blue fires hits the Sterling's Revenge and takes about 30%, maybe a quarter of their HP and a few of their units. Enemies moving towards us, though it looks like their melee troops have completely collapsed. Most of them have disappeared in their front lines, in fact. Is that one Forsaken heading towards our line? I think this guy's shell-shocked. He's, away from the rest of his unit? And they're all gone? I don't know. Poor fella. Well, he's dead now. A bunch of grenades exploded him. Anyway, going to actually move forward, as I expect this is going to be a very quick battle. Ooh, lovely charge from Mr. Dolph as well. I gotta love the extreme speed in combination with the Strider on those steam tanks. It's absolutely insane. There we go, 110 speed and Strider with a, with a massive 5,000. Very difficult to stop that thing. It does look like some of the Tzeentchian fast movers have arrived in the form of those Furies, but they shouldn't be that oh wow, that one poor pink horror just got obliterated by a volley from all of the Pistoliers. It seems like they wanted to fire on one unit rather than into the blob. But generally speaking, the enemy army is not looking so hot, which is unfortunate when you're a Tzeentchian army and reliant on fire damage. Bounce power is about 90% in our favor. Chaos Spawn still attempting to move towards us, but with all of the debuffs that they've gotten, including the Prayer of Binding that we have from the unit of summoned Witch Hunter Retinue, that unit isn't reaching anybody. And yes, we will once again be getting decent mileage out of the Witch Hunter Retinues in a different army. We have popped them into Von Kessel's army, at least as soon as the Witch Hunters that he has level up to rank 20. Which should be pretty quick with all the buffs to character XP that we've got. Anyway, it looks like the enemy army is pretty much done for. We even sort of separated our own army into various distinct units, I guess. Not really quite blobby. It started out blobby, but it didn't end blobby. And now we're going to use that time to chase down and obliterate any enemy units we can. Hopefully we can get them all, though I think at least a couple of units of Forsaken might have escaped. I guess we're about to find out. Either way, Dolph wins again, and with minimal damage and casualties, despite not running, just gunning. There we go, very nice, no run, just gun, but no problem. And looks like 2 units of Forsaken escaped, so you'll still have to waste the next turn occupying the territory, but still, it's all good. Yeah, Dolph has had a lot of screen time in this particular campaign, so I don't think anybody's going to complain too hard. Let's pardon the captives, I guess. I'm still a little bit wary of the damage that the auto-resolve will do even with this, but I guess we'll see.
Say no.
Alrighty, Weight Watcher for Emil von Corden, Creator, Constructor, Trickster's Helm for Emil von Corden, which is actually really, really nice now. Don't know if we're going to keep that on you in particular. I'll have to think about what item we want on you. We'll have to retool the armor a little bit since we're a little bit... Ian Pritzcock, you're not one of these guys, are you? You are not. Okay, good. Imperial Pegasus, Governor Billings. No Griffin for you. What else do we have here? Magic Drain, Puppets of Misrule. They're being really annoying. Another Executioner's X. I would love to use it, but the frickin' Executor trait. I really wish it could be toggled on and off so we didn't have to worry about the desyncs, but what can you do? Elegant Zappos Construction. Next, I just want to see... Zealous Priest. Alright, I just wanted to see whether we got the one that we wanted for Stefan. Speaking of Stefan, we need the Huh, wait, actually go here. If we put Von Kessel right at the edge of this, could you possibly land and immediately replenish? Ah, no dice. Oh well. You could land here, but you couldn't land and replenish the army. Alright, fine, you could just do it next turn. Have to move here anyway. Oh, these guys are coming back. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to land and deal with them. Oh, we do have a mission to knock out Admiral Singal, though it looks like this guy's going after them anyway. Waldemar, grab this mysterious island and loop back around to land. Let's go with Power of Rage. Hello, Discord, nice. And Frenzy for this particular army. Not the most useful, I will admit, but it's something. Anyway, you go here, and we'll try to have you deal with Rosalind Rayner there. Alright, starting from the top once again. Ooh, wait, let's see. Is there a... I don't see it. Seriously, where did that army go? Oh! It's here now? How did you get here? The heck? I genuinely have no idea how this army got here. Interesting, though. How did we miss it? Oh, maybe it went here and then I just didn't notice it? Because we saw it here and then... well, whatever. Whatever, just go and kill it. You. Inspiring Presence and obviously Pistol Corps. And now you also need Artillerist for the mortars and then whatever Wissenberg's Welcomers is probably Mighty Forge. So... I mean, I guess we could do all of them, but we need to save points for this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. I guess we'll get 2 points in Mighty Forge and then save the rest. It's at level 12, so... Alright, keep saving those. And the Engineer, definitely Master Ballistics, all-terrain vehicle for that lovely Strider and Vanguard deployment. And Triangulation. Machinist preparations, restock, then start going through ER. The Elite, I expect these guys will be pretty elite. Pretty quick. Go for Garithor of the Bjornlings. It's a lot of range units in this army. Let's see how the Grenadiers do. It shouldn't be a problem. This is their debut battle as well. Getting lots of debuts today. Very nice. Let's go.
Be thankful for my unrivaled leadership, for we shall emerge victorious this day.
Alrighty, here we go. I readily admit that this is kind of a silly, meme army. I mostly just wanted to see just absolutely obnoxious levels of explosions coming in from all those grenadiers. Let's see how well it works, specifically against the Norskins and more specifically against the Marauder Hunters with the Javelins. They have they have decent amounts of resistance, but they also have barrier on top of the fact that they have loose formations. Not the idealist or the most ideal units for grenade units to deal with. That said, they're probably still going to have a very tough time on the approach due to the mortars trying to target them. And frankly, their army kind of being split down the middle by the I don't know, this rocky formation where the ship has gotten itself stuck. I guess this used to be water here. But anyway, ooh, does look like there's at least one annoyance that we're going to have to deal with in this army. The enemy lord is heading towards our Wissenberg's Welcomers, and there really isn't anything we can do about it, because grenades aren't going to be super effective at knocking units like that out. They're not flamethrowers, after all. Though that does give me an idea. We could replace the Cathian units with some dwarven flamethrowers, and that would kind of solve the problem. I'll think about it. For now, though, it's more explosions time. Gonna get a few more grenades into those Marauders and then back off the Outriders rather than sticking around in melee, and the same thing is repeating itself all across the enemy lines. At least the sort of run-and-gun elements of our army. Oh, looks like the grenades are finally starting to heavily damage the Marauder Chieftain, who's down to about 20% of his HP, now that the Bordermen and the, I guess, the Cathian troops have moved in together as well. Alright, let's see a nice little grenade volley from both of those units into whatever Marauder units are giving or making their charge. 10% HP remaining-ish. It does look like they just failed to reach the battle line. Unfortunate for them, and then they'll take a few more grenades to the back for their trouble as they run. More grenades, of course, coming in from all of our outriders across the enemy main line. Not as much damage as if it was a fully on sort of a melee army, because we have to essentially lob a few grenades and then back off, lest the javelins, which are anti-large, threaten our outriders and our Wissenberg's Welcomers war wagons. All of which are fairly fragile and vulnerable to that sort of thing. Anyway, the bounce power is at about 90% in our favor. This is hardly surprising, considering the auto-resolve was giving this particular battle very much in our favor. And just a few more grenades to the enemy faces, and the battle will be ours. There we go. Ooh, does look like we're taking a few hits now. Ooh, down to 52 units. Let's up the amount of grenades, like so. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The Bordermen and the Cathayan Grenadiers have moved on, and the mortar shells exploding down on the enemy as well, and the enemy is booking it on out of there. I do believe that's it. The battle's ours. The grenades and the mortars carry the day, and, well, I guess the army will also get a little bit stronger once we get that range buffing engineer for it. Which will take a little bit of time because, you know, we've been searching for one for ages and it's been a bit of an effort, but it's all good. Might need some slight modifications, generally speaking, and also potentially a mage, specifically a fire mage, to increase the damage from all of those flaming attacks on the entire army via Kindle Flame. I gotta remember to do that, actually, because it's not like we're short on mage capacity anymore, like we were through the early game, so yeah. Anyway, a lovely little fight. I'm excited to see what else this army can do. All right, there we go. A silly little fight in some ways. I feel like I might have gone overboard on the sheer number of grenade units in this particular army, and that every single unit, basically, is one. The Cathayan units in particular provide little to no value here. Their range is too short compared to our own units, and thus they rarely get to do stuff, and probably warrants us replacing them with something. Not that the army performed poorly, I might add, just that I feel like, once again, just overdid it a little bit. Let's heal up because we'll want to make sure that we destroy... Oh, that already destroyed the army. Oh, well, good. Well, you know what? We're in Norska now, so I guess you're going to help out against Wolfric, since you're here already. Let's land you at the Temple of Myrmidus. Like so. Wait a second. Like so. You also don't need that Dawnstone, so I'm going to take that away from you in a second. Mechanical Steed, and there you go. Good job. Alright, lose that. Alrighty, so that was Troop Train, and now we can actually start moving through... Oh, the heck are you doing? Wait, maybe this was the other guy. I don't know. Man, okay, I guess we can't reach Ormfell because we need to wipe out this guy, so let's go for him. Should be an easy little auto-resolve for Karl. Throg has returned. Oh, we should really trade these territories back to... Yeah, okay, wait, 1 second. Auto-resolve this. Let's trade those territories so that they aren't taken out. And Karl, I imagine you'll heal up, so pardon those captives. Alrighty, and yeah, this is why we should have knocked out Throg, I guess. Still want to get to Skarbrand. Maybe there is nobody at Ormfell. Wait, there's a way to find out, isn't there? If we have you, and we select Occupy, it's not an option. Target settlement unavailable means it is full of rats. Alright, well, we'll just have to deal with it. Alright, so then we can trade this place to you guys for not a lot of money, but at least this way they will probably not lose it. And I guess Throg would have a long way to travel to... Well, he is at war with all of them, but with him focusing on the player, he should in theory head towards us. So we'll see what he does. If he moves this way, we'll intercept him. If he doesn't, we'll move Karl to Ormfell. We could probably use another army or two up there, and we'll get them up and running shortly, as soon as materials at sea is done. Anyway, you... Dolph are going to quick save, but just in case. Still don't trust it. Not with the war wagons there, not to resolve this. Looks like we're okay though. You can sack it, and then you can occupy it. It's not like we're gonna get a lot of mileage or money, rather, out of the Karakadrin dwarves, because they just don't have enough to give to us right now. Fallen King Mountain. Don't collect the income, and we will transfer it to these dwarves shortly. You... And yes, I use that word deliberately. You have war wagons, so once again, quick save. Let's see if we can just auto-resolve this now. Hey, there we go. It did somehow manage to kill 370 of our... Do we sack the place? You know what? Actually, we're going to occupy, because we can occupy it at tier 4, meaning it's probably going to be a good settlement for Karakadrin. Make them a little bit stronger. Yeah, somehow lost a ton of Hura halberds, but that's okay. Gustav Hall, you have stuff to deliver, so keep moving this way, and you're out of order, but yeah, certainly make sure to get those guys, those ogre bulls, and then we'll move to Moonstone Mountain and hopefully knock out this Skaven faction, and then shortly link up the dwarf factions. Gavin, that's also on you, so you're going to not be able to reach World's Edge Archway. You don't need to heal, so I guess you can raid for the turn, and if there's a stack there that attacks you, well... I'll just have to deal with it. Alright, Grimgor, you used to be a very strong faction. You are now at strength rank 92 with only 6 settlements remaining. We've certainly sent you back some. We started with him being all the way out here, taken all of this from him, and, oh, and Karazagrak as well, and pretty much screwed him over. Sorry, Grimgor. Jürgen Wagner, you, alright, yeah, go for this place. Well, let's see if it's auto-resolvable. I'm a little bit concerned by the fact that it's got an old guardhouse, and it looks like it will let us. I'm going to quick save this again, because I don't trust it with the land ships. And I know it hasn't done it to the land ships, but I still don't trust it. No, looks okay. Interesting that the land ships are immune to it. Might warrant us putting land ships, then, a couple of them, in our... maybe at least, or maybe just one, in our army with the Grenadiers, especially since that army has mortars, and, well, I guess that would make sense. And Boris, oh, you can actually, really, you can reach Wulfric from here. Well, that's nice. That's real nice. Alright, we'll be fighting Wulfric in a second then, as soon as we do some stuff, some admin stuff. You know what, let's move the heroes first. Rupert Puttkammer, you are going to immediately join Volkmar the Grim right here. Like so. And then Volkmar, I imagine that these guys have, what, 2 settlements remaining? 1 settlement remaining. So Guardians of the Tarn, or Guardian of the Tarn is their last settlement. I guess we can push directly towards it. I hesitate to waste money, however, and we will grab the... Oh. Well. I just remembered that Veneration of Sigmar is up and running. Now, it's going to take 6 turns to get it, though. You know what? If it's going to take 6 turns, we may as well use the 1 turn to finish up mounted weaponry, but just ignore rifled barrels. Probably the better way to do it. Alrighty, then you're gonna get 2 Knights of More. There we go. Knights of More and Knights of the Everlasting Light together. There was probably other stuff that we wanted in your army, like the Tatter Souls, so we should pop those in there. Where else would we put them, I guess? Although, we might actually split off Volkmar's flagellants into another more flagellant-centric army, because his army is, once again... It doesn't actually want flagellants for weird reasons. I wish that, once again, I don't remember if I said this, I feel like he should give the strength of the penitent to the rest of his army, but since the flagellants already have it, he should, I don't know, either replace their own strength of the penitent with strength of the super penitent, or something similar. Because it's weird that he buffs all other units more than the flagellants, and if anybody's gonna buff them, or Sigmarite Disciples or something, it's probably him, but anyway. You need to push onward as close as you can get to Guardian of the Tarn. And, these guys didn't... Okay, you know what? I really wanted to fight this, so we're gonna fight it right now. I want to see the Bretonians in action. Let's see how they do here. Very invested in this, let's say. Pyrrhic victory. We got Black Orcs. 4 of them, in fact, and a Colossal Squig in there. Should be a pretty darn neat fight. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Truly another day of debuts, as this is the, what, 4th debut army today? That's pretty good. Anyway, our Grandmaster looks a teensy bit out of place amongst all of the Grail Knights, because he's sword and board in their lances, but, oh well, what can you do? Huh, I wonder if we give him... If we give him the Reiksguard barding, will he get a lance instead? I guess we'll find out. Well, he won't get a glowing lance, which is an unfortunate aspect. I guess if we make him a Knight of the Blazing Sun, he would then get a glowing lance, which would match these guys, but then he wouldn't have the... he wouldn't have... I mean, actually, he wouldn't match those guys either. He'd just have a similar sort of looking lance, but his armor would look very different. I'll think about it. The Reiksguard color scheme might actually be a little bit closer, even lacking the lance. We can always reset him if I don't like it. Anyway, all that aside, we've got our Bretonian army ready to go. Well, maybe not quite ready to go, but getting ready to be ready to go. A few more elements needed here, but we're already at 115 armor on that Grey Mountain Band. It isn't as crazy as you would think, because of their HP is quite low for an infantry unit, but hopefully it'll be sufficient. I mean, by the look, you can make a comparison here. Goblin unit has 18,000 HP compared to the 12,000 of the Grey Mountain Band. 19,000 of the Black Orcs, but that should hardly be surprising. They've got about equivalent HP with a unit of Goblin Archers, which is not such a great thing, but, well, we've got plenty of armor to counteract that, and of course we've got the Grail Knights to lead them in as well. We're going to start the battle off against the enemy Black Orcs. Funnily enough, the Black Orcs were able to stop the charge of the Grail Knights. I guess we need to put them into Diamond Formation or Lance Formation, but all good. I still find it kind of weird that the Bretonians were given the cavalry formations and the Empire was not. Frankly, the Empire has more different knightly orders or more different knight-type units than the Bretonians do. I think they know how to take a lance formation or diamond formation. Anyway, here we go. The battle begins as the Bretonian main line, our piles and piles of men-at-arms halberds weighed on in. Of course, we do have the single war drum supporting them, giving them that additional armor. And of course, we also have the Grail relics, which are here somewhere, also offering them support. Oh, there we go. They blend in very nicely with everybody, so I just couldn't find where they were. Alright, you didn't just get a kill, did you? No, they didn't. It looked like they got a kill, but these guys don't really do damage. They're here to provide that support, and it is a very nice support. In particular, the Icon of Devotion gives us immunity to psychology, ignoring the leadership, ignoring the melee defense. Immunity to psychology on the weak infantry units is very much needed. And obviously this is not going to be our only Bretonian-styled army. We got to get a more sort of knightly one going as well. But this one should still be pretty neat. And we do have Cav, at the very least, the light Cav of the Mounted Yeoman. They may be pretty trash in melee, especially as we saw as we had one in Karl's army for a fair amount of time. But hopefully they can chase some stuff down and just be careful. Though staying near the war drum does allow them to have additional little bit of armor, so that does help them out. Anyway, it looks like it's going to be a fairly big old brawl, and now that the enemy is essentially stuck in this choke point and being held back by the droves of peasants, we're going to make some use out of those knights of ours. They can use their mass to just make their way through the formation as they please. And ooh, this is going to hurt. Spinning Loons. There we go. Take about half HP off the units of Grey Mountain Band that they hit. But what can you do? There is a colossal squig out there, so we're going to charge it with our units of Grail Knights while it's pinned in place and by our Lord, and all together they will hopefully surround it and bring it down before getting ready to move back into the fray. Have not lost any of the Grail Knights as yet, but that should hardly be surprising since they have that healing from the Grail Vitality. Alright, well, they're going to be working on that thing for a little bit, and oh no, another unit of spinning loons. It looks like we're going to have to get these guys back, or at least a few of the units of the halberdiers back, as the spinning loons do far more damage than the rest of the enemy infantry do. Which again, I do find kind of funny. For all the orcs' size and for all the black orcs' weaponry and heavy armor, it's the spinning loons, the insane little gobs, that do the real damage in this army. And because the spinning loons are armor-piercing, ooh, very nice charge from those Grail Knights right into the center of the enemy formation. I guess the big old squig is pretty much done for, and in fact gets brought down by the Wardens of the West, which do take a little bit of damage from the squiggy exploding. Another Wa activation comes in from the enemy orcs, and looks like that's going to increase their damage, but it looks like we're more or less fine, other than the units that got hit hard by those loons. Enemy Lord is escaping, and our mounted yeomen are pretty badly damaged, but at the same time they are giving chase to enemy units as best they can, because everybody else is either too slow or too busy to do so the same thing. I meant to say do the same thing. We're not Nerdlights, or are we? Anyway, otherwise the balance power is at, well, actually still in the enemy's favor. I guess it's really not favoring the piles of peasants, which, you know, fair enough. But a little bit more work should see them get brought down. We are starting to rack up the kills on some of those Grey Mountain Band as well. I see 120 on at least one unit. Probably not doing too much damage to the orcs, but we are armor-piercing. Even if the armor-piercing, or just the damage generally speaking on the Grey Mountain Band is low without enemy spells, they will eventually be ground down. And of course eventually we'll have our own spells available as well. The Gold Wizard will offer Searing Doom spam on the front lines as we hold the enemy back. Glittering Robe to protect our fragile units, additional armor from that aura. And I suppose Transmutation of Lead as well to reduce enemy melee attack, though our melee defense is pretty okay. Though I suppose it can get better. Alright, we've done a decent bit of damage with our Grail Knights, going to reposition them slightly. I love the fact that they can immediately charge. And we could obviously get more from the Bretonians if we should so desire. But I think in the sort of Bretonian army-centric, Knight-centric army, I'm just thinking about what it will look like. I was thinking about combining questing Knights with the Stubborn Bulls. And just because I don't want to repeat other army compositions with the Ostlanders. And I think the Stubborn Bulls, being a similar sort of unit, just weaker than Questing Knights, will make a sort of sensible army composition for them. And of course the Mounted Yeomen as well, so that we have some weaker units in that particular army. And we'll feel like a nice knightly Bretonian force, together with those Stubborn Bulls. At least that's the plan for now. We'll see how it goes as we go on. Otherwise, the battle is pretty much ours, though the bounce power is only 60% in our favor. Most of the enemy have at this point collapsed, and only the Black Orcs, really, -1, remain in the fight. A few more charges from those Grail Knights, however, should see that not be the case for too much longer. There we go. Now, they can go through that entire blobby Orky formation using that mass and the Lance formation. And it looks like this unit of Black Orcs is nearly out. Another unit of Black Orcs is broken, exhausted, and running out of there. Huh, I wonder. Just want to see something. Yeah, all of our units are very tired or exhausted as well. I guess they could really use some vigor loss reduction. Don't we have an ability on somebody that reduces vigor loss reduction? Is it a Warrior Priest ability? I gotta double check. What does Benediction do again? Alright, we'll be back here in terms of the army composition. And then again, the Warrior Priest would be might be a little bit out of place in this completely Bretonian-centric army. Just ignore the war drum. Pretend it's a Bretonian war drum. I feel like other factions should have different types of war drums as well. Not just Bretonian, but or not just Cathay, but all good. More support units is what I'm getting at. Anyway, with that, the last of the Black Orcs at last shatter, and the battle is ours. We certainly did take damage on our front line, but still managed to pull that off, considering the disparity between the Tier 4 Black Orcs and the Tier 1 Bretonian peasants. I'm pretty darn happy about the performance, and I guess the choke point actually worked a lot decently, let's say, in our favor, simply because it allowed all of our units to be getting the buffs from the War Drum and the 2 Grail relics as well. The range on their buffs is pretty good, but it isn't a maximum, or it isn't, well, it's probably not. I don't want to jump the gun and say something that might not be true, but if we were to draw the line, draw the front line entirely out, the War Drum wouldn't be able to reach everyone, which is what I was getting at. Anyway, a lovely little fight, expecting much more from these guys as well. Sort of the, well, together with Volkmar, the heralds of our crusades, but anyway. Alrighty, there we go. For fair Bretonia, the peasants, by and large, are victorious, though admittedly a lot, and I mean a lot of the damage came from the single unit of Grail Knights that we popped in here. 500 kills and 93,000 damage, versus... I don't think they did quite as much as all of the Grey Mountain Band peasants put together, especially if we throw in the chasing units of Wardens of the West in there, but it was probably pretty close, and shouldn't be surprising either. Still, a really, really fun fight, though the damage, well, we could certainly use a little bit more damage on these guys. It was pretty darn enjoyable. We'll take the money, I guess. We still gotta chase these guys down, I imagine, but I think we should be able to auto-resolve this now. Like so, and then we still have plenty of movement range, or movement remaining, so we can... Okay, quick save it just in case it kills the War Drum. Every single time. There's always something. Auto-resolve, let's see what it does. It will not kill the War Drum. Okay, good job. And we'll take the healing this time, slight though it may be. Anyway, we will have enough movement range to pop you into an camp stance and hopefully heal up. Not having a warrior priest means not such great things for you guys. Wait, how much do we heal in our territory versus theirs? 25 and 3 versus 28 and 3. So we heal more in enemy territory than our own territory. Okay, sure game, sure. Why not? Hey, alright, so we are definitely going to go with Reiksguard. Although I suppose if we go Unwavering Discipline, we'd have the big leadership or and vigor loss reduction. But I do like the additional armor. Fine, more armor. Reiksguard for this guy it is, but then these stats will be by and large relatively worthless. Speed, melee attack, yeah, but it's percentage based, so it's not super worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with armor. Anyway, you have Emperor's Finest, and it's gonna be a bit before these guys are high enough rank to... Well, actually, they're rank 5, which is not so bad. Any possibility, any likelihood of getting anything else in here that's going to help out, like a Sigmarite Disciples or a something like that to provide support? Again, unlikely, but also the Sigmarite Disciples are also Emperor's Finest, so that wouldn't do anything for us anyway. Alright, just go for Speed of Horse, it doesn't really matter what you pick. Then Rally, then most importantly we'll get Strength of Hardship. And then we'll get Stand Your Ground, though funnily enough, Taste for Battle will... Okay, no, it won't. Huh, wait. Where are the horsemen? I don't see them here. Weird. They're obviously not in Sharpshooter. Wardens of the West. Huh, they're not present in any of these. Oh well, okay, well since they're not present, not a big deal. It's not like we're really using them for anything too much other than just having them chase stuff down. And yeah, I mean, they're tier 1 troops after all. Anyway, nice little fight. Let's see who's up next, shall we? And oh wow, we are definitely going to start running out of time soon, at least at this rate. You guys. Alright, which one of you can more easily take Tor Anrock? Okay, it's a garbage settlement, and I guess you could besiege Thessos, and then we'll have Theodoric move down here then. Alright, you're gonna go to Tor Anrock then. I wonder if it would be faster to go land here and then... probably not. Go here and then attack it like this. Steel tech while you're at it. And thus we will prepare for the war with these guys. Oh, you still don't have a mage, do you? Oh, maybe we should attack Heldegrad first. Alright, you know what? Go up this way so that we can start the war by attacking Heldegrad, mostly because... Okay, actually, don't be in range of our Nalos. Mostly because we don't want these guys to suddenly get an army and then travel it here, where we don't have any defenders at the current time. Anyway, Elspeth. What is this? Disciples of Hashut Caravan. I guess we could kill that. I don't see why not. Wow, what the heck? They... Really? Well, that's interesting. They don't dislike us. You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone for now. I don't think we're going to get an alliance with Chaos Dwarfs, in that it's extremely unlikely, but who knows. Elspeth, I think I'd actually like you to sit still and heal for a turn or so. You actually do heal more in our own territory. Alright, then next turn you can head to Keratomin's tomb after healing, so let's just do that. Make sure you heal up to full. Well, you know what? I can't trust that it won't actually screw over your healing, so let's move here. And I am okay, this is Rictus, and I guess all of this is Rictus as well, but I guess, yeah, they'll be jumping down to... Ooh, okay, actually, so that I don't forget. Let's immediately give these guys Kazad Urkbavak right after we check diplomacy in case we got additional trades available to us. Sylvanian Pig Barter, that's looking like a no to me. Alright, so that means... Talza nearly ready for the military access. Maragliano, I don't really care about you, admittedly. One settlement, Broken Axe. Oh, right, Broken Axe. Okay, let's actually knock them. Well, okay, no. We'll do it in order. I just want to make sure that we give these guys Kazad Urkbavak.
All here are honored dwarf king.
Like so, for all the money that you have, even though it's really not a lot, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, let them keep on building, and I don't remember, did we give these guys a territory this turn or last turn? I guess we'll see. Anyway, and let's see who's next in the order. Emil von Corden. You, I was just talking about you, are now going to wipe out the remnants of these guys. Probably going to damage us more than the actual fight did. Huh. The already hurt unit of Demigryphs got more badly damaged, and I also know that the other Demigryph Knights with halberds got damaged. I wonder if this is an indication that the Auto-Resolve dislikes the Halberdier variant more than the regular variant. Or the Lancer variant. Interesting. Anyway, we do still have Montfort and Theraville, or we do have Hellspire and Castle Drakenfels. I wonder what Castle Drakenfels is worth to you, out of curiosity. 151 for Barrows of Quila. No, at least not right now. Alright, so we're probably better off replacing this and this with both military structures. Would you trade Black Chasm for Hellspire, I wonder? Black Chasm for Hellspire. Oh, we can't ask for Hellspire, we have to... Okay, fine, we'll just wait. The other option would be once again to trade Montfort. West, this is actually considered to be part of, Imperial, well, quote-unquote Imperial territory. Maybe we are better off asking for this. Okay, would you trade Montfort for Barrows of Quila? Probably not, eh? No, at least not yet. And if these are former Imperial territories, I guess they would count for this? Oh, but I guess so do these. I guess so it doesn't really matter. Alright, well, either way, that doesn't change the fact that we're waiting a turn for this, so... Yeah, minus Humphrey, who is free to go southward. We got a lot of stuff to do down there. I also noticed that you still don't have a mage, though whether it's needed remains to be seen. because I'm still unsure as to what, if anything, we would want to remove from your army. There's just not enough space, man. Anyway, Gustal and... Okay, well, I guess you guys can move down here? I guess it depends on who exactly it is we declare war on first. We did want to go after Manny. These aren't real armies, but they will eventually become them anyway. Head down to Ashmere anyway.
My inventions serve the Empire.
And then we'll figure out how to deal with that.
Yes, my lord.
Alright, Gelti, let's see where you got. And it looks like you're gonna be ready to push towards Dragonhorn Mines, which might actually be worthy of a fight, but I fear that we don't have enough time. In fact, I think maybe this is probably gonna be the best place to call the episode. There is not a lot to do. A few armies still to be moved around and stuff, but I think I'll do the admin between the episodes, and on top of that I think we had 6 cinematic battles already, plus a couple of non-cinematic manual battles. My point is I have a lot of editing to do for this episode, so I'm gonna call it here. Next time we will do the Boris battle, we will do the Gelt battle. Ooh, Boris versus Wolfric, yeah, that'll definitely be a pretty good time, so stay tuned for that and whatever else we come up with. Karl will continue hunting Skarbrand, and he should probably be able to reach him pretty quickly if he doesn't go after Throg again. We'll probably send off a couple more armies next episode as well, because it's pretty apparent that we need them in several places. So stay tuned for more Karl. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.